welcome back into the Higher Up podcast. As always, I am joined by my co-host, Benji Wilson. But also I'm excited, Benji, because today we're going to be joined by a regular new co-host.
Oh, yeah.
Your brother, the yin to your yang. I can't say your better half, I guess, but Brady Wilson.
We're
welcome.
Excited to have him. We're very excited to have him.
Very excited. We are. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've sat and talked. We've kind of gone over some things. We know we've been gone for a year. And you're probably listening right now and thinking like, Adam, why would I trust you? You broke my heart. You listened to 10 episodes and then you disappeared for a year.
Left us hanging.
Left us hanging. So, but we're excited because we definitely want to bring in some extra knowledge. We're going to talk a little bit today about just the new process with Brady coming in. We're going to kind of brief him a little bit, find out why did you want to be part of the show? Don't answer it yet, Brady. We're going to get into it.
I'm ready.
We're going to get into it. We got some cool updates we'll talk about, and then just kind of some things we're going to be doing moving forward. So I'm excited we're here, Benji. It's been it feels like a long time.
It's been way too long. And Adam, we've had so many people. It's been kind of overwhelming in a good way that people are reaching out going, hey, when are you guys going to start this again? When are you going to get back going? What's the next step? You know, we've I think August the 15th in 2023 was the last episode we actually released. And it was with a buddy of ours, Roy Adcock.
He firmly believes, he's like, did I kill the podcast? He was our first and only guest.
He was the only one, yeah.
He's the only one we had. We were kind of wanting people to get to know us a little bit and then jump into it. But yeah, I talk to him all the time, and he's like, I'm sorry, I killed your podcast.
It was a really good episode, though.
It was.
Yeah.
He's great.
The thing is people again, they were reaching out and they were wondering when we were going to release again. And every week we're seeing people download the podcast, don't know where these folks are coming from, and they're messaging in. We would like more. We'd like more. And so we were like, it's time. It's time to get this thing rolling again.
Yeah, definitely. No, we're excited about it. We're gonna kind of dive into things a little bit. The reason I'm really excited about it is, now we've got the two of you guys, and I think we were kind of chatting about it before we started going live. You'll have what, 50, 60 years of leadership between the two of you, right?
Yeah.
Like you've been in leadership positions.
It's been well. I was 14. Brady would have been 14 when he started.
So he's got a 2-year head start on me.
But it was I was mid 90s. Yeah, it was mid 90s when we actually got into SERVPRO, the business that we actually run on a day-to-day basis. So it's all we've ever done. It's all we've ever known. He has a 2-year head start because he actually went to college and got a degree. I went to college and never got a degree. So I know y'all have heard that before, but it's we've got a lot of years of history, a lot of years of leadership, and we feel like we have a message to share with people to help them in their business. Maybe it helps them in their church. Maybe it helps them in their personal life, whatever. And we wanted to just partner up and say, look, we want to help you, whatever we can do to help.
Yeah, I think it'll be good for you guys. I think it'll be it's tough. The two of you. Y'all run a very successful company. It's very busy. I know, Brady, you especially, we'll get to talk about this more, but your schedule is detailed, like very detailed in your calendar. And so what I'm more excited about with this new format is it really is going to give people access to you guys. We're going to shift a little bit more to really the two of y'all kind of talking about your experiences, the things that go on. But it's tough for you guys to have meetings and do these things because of everything else that's going on in your life. And it's not just the company. I mean, you guys have families that are going nonstop. So not only are you leading your company, but you're leading your families. And then both of you are serving your church in some capacity as well, which
absolutely.
It's a lot. So it takes a lot of time. So what I'm really hoping that our listeners get from this is it's going to give a chance for them to have a little bit of access to the two of you. For them to hear your heart and hear a little bit more how you guys run things, what you do, and then also it'll be a good chance for them to connect, ask questions. What are some topics we can cover, different things. So it's gonna be great. I'm really excited about where we're gonna be going with all this.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think I think everybody will get value out of this. We want your help. Share the message out because it could touch someone's life in a way that they may be going through something, and one word or one sentence or whatever sparks an interest and changes their whole trajectory on life. So that's what we want to do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's do this. We've got our new co-host, and so some people may not know. They don't know Brady Wilson, and so I think we need to take a moment and share a little bit about that. What it is that what it is you're doing now. Obviously, you're helping run the company, but talk a little bit about, just share with us like what you're doing, where you are. I mean, take 2 or 3 minutes and just really kind of give the people, who Brady Wilson is.
The inside track. Yeah. Well, I would be remiss to say, first off, guys, I feel a little bit out of place because you guys have these fancy studios. I mean, I'm looking in the background and seeing all this stuff, and I feel like, man, I need to grow up here and get something behind me or get a space that I can do this. But no, this is going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to it. Just a little bit about me. Yeah, I mean, Benji said it. He's got a 2-year head start on me in SERVPRO. We started at a very young age, and this SERVPRO is the only thing that we've ever done, and we're second generation owners, and so basically what I do on a day-to-day basis in our company is run the operational side of the business, and really we have a good team that I get to lead each and every day, and they're the ones that really make it happen. And so just providing some leadership and some direction and that type of thing, that's what I do. That's my day job, if you will. And then, outside of that, Adam, you mentioned that, we're involved in our church. So I'm one of our 4 worship leaders at our local church here. And then as a side note, I also am on the board of a nonprofit here locally in Alabama, and I help to serve that and serve as the board president. So there's a lot to go on, and on top of that, I got a family. I've got 2 kids, one 19 that's just got engaged a few weeks ago, and so he's going to be getting married. Yeah, in April.
Really happy for him.
And then I've got a 16-year-old daughter, and so pretty busy all around. But it's a good thing. I'm excited about just what the Lord's done and the blessings that He's given us and our family, and what He allows me to do each and every day.
I didn't realize, you're just in all facets of life now. I mean,
that's right.
You're getting ready to bring new people into the family.
Yep.
You got one that's finishing up school, and you got a lot going on. So tell us a little bit. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I was a little shocked when you brought it up. You and I were in a meeting, and you said, "Hey, I want to ask you something," and you prefaced it with, "Don't laugh at me." And then, of course, immediately I start laughing because I have no idea what's coming. And he was like, you said, what would you think if I joined in on the podcast? And I was like, you're messing with me. You don't know. Yeah. I was like,
yeah.
That's so. But yeah, so to kind of jump into that a little bit. I mean, your thought process behind that. Like, what is it? I do like you said. I think this is a little bit out of your comfort zone. This is new for you, but I think it's good. I think you have a lot of knowledge. You and I had talked about the fact that we had done a little bit of podcasting early on in my career at SERVPRO when you guys were training a bunch of other SERVPROs, and we had an episode that you were on, and it actually was one of our most listened to, and I think it's just the influence that you bring, just with your knowledge of the the corporate world, the leadership that you bring, and people enjoyed it. So I'm excited to kind of see what people pull from this. But share a little bit with our listeners. I mean, what got you, like, what do you feel like, what was your thought process getting to here?
Yeah, I mean, it did take a little bit of, I remember that discussion. It did take a little bit of arm twisting from Adam to really get it out of me for a long time to be able to do this, because this is not my comfort zone. But it's an interesting question in the fact that, and I was reflecting on that, and really, there's really 2 things at the core of it. One is just leadership is influence. John Maxwell says that. And so if Benji and I have any influence in just our own inner circles, and then, just with people that we've had the privilege of building relationships with, and even people that listen to this, I mean, we want to be able to use that influence for good, and just what the Lord's called us to do. And the other thing is that, leadership is a calling. And I'll talk about that here in just a minute. It's a calling, Do people want to lead? Yes, but it's not easy. And so while I was thinking about like higher up podcasts, what does that mean? And I remember Benji and I were in, I think it was Dallas, maybe a year or two ago, and he was talking to me about this concept, and so I listened to some of the episodes and just really getting to the heart of what you guys are trying to do. Is one, I was thinking about higher up and what does that mean to live a higher up life. And really, even as of this morning, there's a verse that came to mind. I think it's out of Psalm 191, 192 that said, I lift my eyes up to the hills. Where does my help come from? It comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. And so that's really the first thing, is to acknowledge that, every day that we wake up, if we're going to live this higher up life, then we need to give credit to the one that created us. That's really where it starts. It doesn't start with us. It starts with him. And so that was really one part of it. And then the other part of it was, and I spoke to this a little bit earlier, but leadership it's lonely, you know? And I remember a couple years ago, I was in kind of a state of, when they say it's lonely at the top, I mean, that's not just a cliche. That's not just a phrase, but it's a reality. And so I was able and fortunate enough through just some prayer and some things that went on, that I was able to find a local Christian CEO group that I got a part of called C12. And it really helped surround other brothers with me that helped me in my journey. And so, I think that for me, and I know you guys want the same thing, is there are people that are out there, and I know of some that just need hope. And we as leaders, a lot of times we don't get to hear from people that are like us, that are doing the same things that we're doing every single day. And while in business, hope is not a good strategy, in our personal lives, it really is. And so if we can just provide some hope to some people that are distraught out there, or that are lonely in what they're doing every single day, and we just have a little piece of being able to make a difference in their life, I'm all for it.
It's interesting you said that about being lonely at the top. There are people, if it wasn't lonely, everyone would do it. I mean, everyone would try to take the next step, in their venture in life. And going back and thinking about that, there's so many leaders out there that, what is my next step? How do I take the next step? How do I do the next thing, the next process, whatever? And without that group, around us to be able to help lift us up, people to help challenge us, people to help inspire us, help us to be better leaders, it can be very lonely at the top. And so it's interesting you said that.
Well, it's interesting both of y'all say that, and especially for you guys. I know Brady, you kind of mentioned C12, and you've got another group of guys, but that was going to be my question as I thought about it. Like, where do you get that from? Especially from, you're essentially president and vice president. You're all the top of the crop. So where does that? The good thing is, someone in my position, I've got people that I feel like are similar to where I'm at, that I can talk to, that I can reach out to. But for you guys, other than, does it come just from joining groups like C12, or do you have other owners or other leaders or anything in that? Where does that inspiration come to help kind of pull you out of that loneliness when you're like, man, does anybody understand what I'm dealing with right now?
Go ahead, Benji.
I'll tell you this, Brady. We from my perspective, I'm not a part of a group like he is. I think I'm more of the vision, strategy, marketing, business development side of the company. I get my thoughts. I believe the Holy Spirit gives me ideas, right? Because our organization is so large now that it would take a group like C12 to tell us what we don't know, right? And both of us can't be involved in C12. Only one or the other can. And it fits Brady's personality a whole lot better to be a part of that than it would me. I would be sitting in that meeting. We talk about working genius. I'd be sitting in that meeting going, man, like, this would drive me crazy. But for him, he gets joy out of that, right? For me, I believe the Holy Spirit gives us ideas. I said this in a meeting recently, and the entire team died laughing. I come up with 8 out of 10 strategies that are totally foolish, but the two,
Spaghetti on a wall.
that's what we call it.
Spaghetti. Yep,
Throw
that's
spaghetti
right.
out there, and if it sticks, great. If it doesn't, it'll fall off. We move to the next one. But it's those 2 out of 10 ideas that we might can implement. I think I talked about this on a previous episode, but there was a lot of times where Brady would be like, "Hey, whoa, slow down. We can only implement so many things, at a certain time." And I had to learn that over the course of about 12 months that, look, we're not in the business anymore to be able to just drive from a local perspective. We have a team around us now of 12 to 14 directors that have buy-in, the culture, the vision, the strategies. And so we can throw the idea out there. It might not stick. It might be for a later time. It's not a no, it's just not right now. So
that's right.
we have to figure that stuff out. So from my perspective, I think the Holy Spirit gives us thoughts and ideas to be able to take that one idea and implement that thing. And then Brady and the team go, you know what, we can either do it or we can't. So for me, I don't have a group like that around me, except, I have a lot of large business owners that I talk with on a certain day-to-day basis that are in the same industry we are. But for him, he has that group that can really help us figure out from a company how we can get to the next step.
Yeah, and I think that's so good, Benji. I think for me, based off of the question that you asked, Adam, there's so many leaders out there that really don't know what to do, and so we say in our business all the time is that decisions are easy, so we can make decisions, but it's the disciplines that are the hardest thing to do, the everyday things. But just to go along with that is when I got to this spot that I really felt like I needed some help, is a lot of times we get to that spot and then we don't know what to do and we don't really take it any further. So we keep talking about it, but we never do anything about it. But the first realization is kind of like, and I don't know if people really do this anymore, like I don't know if people go to the mall anymore. But if they do, back in the day, you'd park in the parking garage, and then you'd go in the first door, and then you knew kind of what store you wanted to go to, and the first thing that you would come up to is the kiosk. Right now, I know they got apps now and all that kind of stuff, but the first thing you do is you come up to the kiosk. And what was the thing that you looked for on the kiosk?
Shoes.
It says, "You are here."
Here, yeah.
Right?
You are here.
You are here. So the first acknowledgement is to recognize that, okay, here's where I'm at.
You see where Adam's mind is. He's in the shoe department.
A shoe
That's
department.
right.
I'm not
So how
worried
do I-
about where I'm at. How do I get to Foot Locker?
So you have to realize, like, where am I? That's the acknowledgement first. That way you can know where to go. And so until we realize, hey, I'm in this state right now and I need to do something different to get out of it, that's where you got to start with. And then you start going down the path of, okay, what do I need to do about it?
Yeah. I think that's good because, like you said, it's so many times people throw those ideas, and then are you going to do it? Are you not going to do it? You're going to keep throwing those out. And one of the things I feel like too is so different is from the company world to like the church world, for instance. I mean, all of us are in that facet. In the company world, it's tough. You don't want to have failure. I mean, you've got to succeed. You got to find initiative and processes and policies that work. But in the church world, it might be a little different, where you're trying to create an environment that raises up people, and you're like, it's okay to kind of have those failures. Like, let's learn from them. Let's do them. And I think it points in company, and you guys can elaborate on that a little more. But I think in company wise, it's okay to have those places, but it has to be strategic. There's certain things that you've got to be able to succeed at from the beginning. Like, hey guys, we've got to create something that works. Like, I mean, budgets or any marketing things that work. We got to make sure that things are rolling from the start, whereas those are different in those facets.
That's a great point. There's a lot of businesses that, and I'm using business. It could be for your local church as well, that they get status quo just because they don't want to do anything different. They're so stuck in their way of exactly how they do things, why they do things. You know what? We're good. We don't really want to grow to the next level. Brady says it all the time to our team. We want to change family trees. It's not just about our
Yeah.
family, the Wilsons. We want to change our employee family trees as well. We have a lot of employees who have started as entry level positions that have now grown and morphed into management into our company. And I'm not talking about management at the local level. They're now managers at our director level that grew
Yeah.
through this company with us. And you see many examples like that in business all the time. But people, they don't want to grow. And what do we got to do to help them grow? Well, we believe this higher up podcast, if we understand what we're living for, then
Yeah.
we have a desire, we have a dream to change other people's lives. So yeah, from a Christian standpoint, we want to change people's lives and them accept the
Yeah.
Lord, But from a business perspective, we also have the same thing. We want to grow. We have desires. We have dreams. Do we fail? Absolutely. You mentioned it best. A lot of times you're in the church world and failures do come and go. But I think it's just sometimes it's a test, right? You either take the test, you pass it, or you don't pass it. We're not going to
Yeah.
say fail. You just don't pass that time because you can always take the test again. So yeah, we have desires to grow. We have dreams. We have things that we want to do to help not just our family, but our families.
Yeah.
I think so too, Adam, that it comes with having good foundations. So in our spiritual walk, we know that we got to have a good foundation, and that's our walk with the Lord, and that's the time that we're spending with Him. And because things are going to come up, temptations are going to come up, or thoughts or ideas that we shouldn't be having, or other things come up. Unless we have that solid foundation, then something bad may happen. And it's no different in the business world either. Is our foundations a lot of times, or in the church world, processes and procedures and systems. We were reminded recently about James Clear, the guy that wrote Atomic Habits, and he says
Great
that
book.
you don't.
Great book.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal book. He says that you don't rise to the level of your goals; you fall to the level of your systems.
Yeah.
Systems, foundation, whatever those are, because we're going to make mistakes. We're gonna fail at things, but if we don't learn from them and
Yeah.
create systems and processes and procedures that allow that not to happen next time, then it's going to happen, and it could be worse.
You could see that in a lot of industry, things that they decided, I don't want to change my process, I don't want to change my system, and they go out of business. So you have to always be striving to do something different. If not, competition will come in. Competition will see where they can plug that void, and they'll do it, and then you lose the business and go out of
Yeah.
business. So we always have to be striving for that.
Yeah. It's about I guess the word evolution. Like, do you evolve with the world in general? And I think there's a safety line you got to be with that. We're called to be in the world, not of it. So we're trying to figure like, okay,
Yeah.
how do I navigate this but still be successful in this field? And I mean, even in the church world, I feel like we experience that. I mean, think about where we are with digital marketing. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things out there on social media and social. I you guys know me as a digital person. I love social media. I enjoy content creation. I enjoy just creating in general and coming up with ideas to connect with people. But social media can be a dark place, and it can be full of things that we don't need to see. It can be full of things that can, it can give a lot of mental issues, mental health. I mean, just, we're in this world of comparison now. We see things and we compare ourselves. Like, am I that good, or am I like this person's better? And it's those type of things. But it's finding ways to connect with people, especially from the church world. We've got to find ways to get people into church and show them that, it's not the old school, just singing hymnals and things like the church is fun. I mean, church is, there's a lot of good things that go on. There's community, there's life, there's finding people. And I know it's cliche, and I think it's funny because I see that a lot on social media, where now there's a trend going around where everybody says, like, do life together.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, it's cliche as it is. I mean, you hear it in every church, but it has some truth to it. Like, these are your people. I mean, these are the people that you're going to be around. So how do you find ways to do that and connect with those people and be successful at it, but still, like you guys said, have your foundations and keep those without changing them.
Adam, are you sure you're a creative guy? I would never have guessed that.
He liked it so much, Brady. He left us at SERVPRO, and
I know. I know.
I hadn't brought it up yet. I figured it'd be for another episode.
Hey,
Episode 2. Stay tuned.
To our listeners, just so everyone knows, Adam has gone and done what has been passionate to him for a number of years. It's what he's always wanted to do, and we could not be happier for him.
Yeah.
Right. Matter of fact, he likes it so much, he's still helping us produce this podcast.
And
we couldn't get rid of him.
Man, but what I love is I feel like I'm getting a different perspective. And, I mean, even in that, like, so everybody that I'm working with a lot of them have been at the church for a long time. And, I'm learning that. And one of the things I want to be very careful with is I don't want to be the new guy. I don't want to come in and just change things. Like, I don't want people seeing like, well, Adam, he took a new position as the creative director at the church. And, he's just this kid. This is just, I want people to realize it's not a job to me. Like, I care about the church. It's not just the church that we're at. It's the church, the capital church, and that's really the big C. And, that's one of the things that I'm excited to be able to bring is I'm learning that right now is that how do I do this without people realizing I don't want to step on toes. I don't want to, I don't want to come in and change things. What I want to do is push the ball forward and realize that we have a massive amount of just talented people at the church from senior leadership, senior pastorship, all the way down. And how do we do those things? And I'm learning now how do we connect with those? Like, how do we do those? One of the things that's really cool, and if it might get off subject, one of the things we're doing, working with you guys for so long, it was like, how do we sell services? How do we, we're emergency service. Our whole thing was, how do we get in front of someone when that time comes? They're not going to look for us until they need us,
Yeah.
But something I'm working through right now that I'm trying to figure out is, how do I get in front of people that aren't looking for Jesus? Like, how do we do that? Because so much of everything we do, I mean, like, Big Brother's always listening. You think about it, during Christmas, you start seeing ads for everything, right? Like, Big Brother's always listening. So if you're not somebody that's talking about Jesus, talking about church, how do you get in front of those people? And so that's something we're working through right now is how do we create things that put us in position to show people that experience Jesus, and we're working through that now. But yeah, it's exciting to kind of see and take a lot of those, but taking the corporate world that came from the two of you. I think I was telling somebody, I was talking to our director of HR, I was talking to Leo, and he was asking how things were going, and I was telling him what I was doing and what I was bringing up, and he was like, you sound like Brady, right? Like, he was like, because I told him, I was like, yeah,
I take that as a compliment.
It is. It's a good thing, because I told him, as I came in, I said, hey, what are y'all, give me 5 things that need to be worked on before the end of the year. Like, what are 5 things? And he was like, that's Brady, right? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he was like, yeah, you do. He said, it's what you do. What are your top 5 goals? And so, but it, like you guys said, it gives us something to work toward. Whether that can be done in a week or, maybe it's going to take several months. There's things that we're working toward at all times to get better at, to grow at. And so that's what I'm really excited as we're coming into the second season, the two of you guys to share is how do you create those goals? How do you achieve them? How do we move forward to live that higher up life, to do these things that we want to do? And not, like I said, not just for business and not just for your church, but like you said, but I mean, you're involved in nonprofit things, and I mean, I completely forgot about you're in that. That's another facet you're adding. But how do you show leadership, and how do you show growth in that? How do you do it for your family, which to me is really the most important. Like, how do you grow that? How do you instill that? We're walking through that now. I mean, with a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old, how do we instill these principles in them? How do we instill
before
goals?
You know it, they're gonna get married.
Absolutely. God.
Now I got 2 girls.
You got 2 girls.
I'm starting to save now. I
I
need
was about
to.
to say, you better have that wedding fund started now.
And don't open it. No debit cards to it. Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let it pile up.
No, but that again, that's a big thing you guys have taught about debt. Like, how do we do things without debt? How do we achieve dreams? How do we do these things? So, I'm excited about moving into that with you guys. I feel like even this just this quick welcome back episode, you guys have you're just showing our listeners what's coming, and so, but just before I ask you guys for a final nugget, let you guys know we've got a bunch of things coming up. We got some new branding coming up that I'm excited about. I'm a branding guy through and through. I love it. I love why brands and colors are chosen and different things. So I'm excited for that. We've got our good buddy Josh over at Bright Coal working on a brand new logo for us.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something too. Bright Coal, for our listeners, if you know of someone looking to upgrade your logo, maybe at your church, maybe it's your business, and you don't have, like in our world, we can't really do so much because we have a corporate, logo that's a franchise. But if you're looking for something, give Josh and his team at Bright Coal a call, a message. You can go to Bright Coal, BRIGHTCOAL.com, and I promise you they will take good care of you. Their communication, Adam, even they were good the first time I dealt with them when I had our church redone.
Yeah.
Even now, it's so much easier, the process he has, so give him a shout.
Sponsor us, Josh. Okay? Sponsor us. So
Brought to you by.
Maybe
brought to you by Bright Coal. So, but we're excited.
Now.
Dude, what was that?
He
Yes,
opened the coffee. Yeah,
he does. It's called Trellis Coffee. He's just creating.
What's the name of it?
Trellis Coffee.
Trellis
in
Coffee.
Augusta,
Okay.
Georgia.
Augusta?
Yeah,
I'm kind of like a coffee snob, so I'm gonna have to.
yeah. One of our
have to order
SERVPRO
some.
owners, his daughter, that's in that you guys help with. His daughter works there, so it's kind of funny.
Oh wow.
No.
Okay.
But no, we're excited. We're going to be releasing that. By the time this episode comes out, it may have already come out. We're working through that now. It's a process. We're working through those, but we're excited. You're going to see that the branding comes out. It fits to what we're doing. It fits to what we're trying to build. I believe it's going to set us apart in the podcast world on some looks and some things. But we're excited to continue working on topics for the next couple episodes. So if you guys have anything, definitely hit us with that. But any lasting thoughts, Benji, Brady, anything that you want to leave our listeners with as we get ready to close up our first episode of season 2?
Season two.
Yeah.
I'll say one thing. I'm a branding guy like Adam. I love the new feel, the new look. Stay tuned on all of our social platforms at Higher Up Podcast. You can also go to higheruppodcast.com. You're going to see a complete rebrand there. So we're really excited. Stay tuned. We're on YouTube as well. If you're watching this, thank you for watching. If you're listening, thank you for listening.
Yeah. Brady, any lasting knowledge?
Yeah, well, just one thing. Adam, you talked about earlier just about being in the world and not of the world. And I was reminded of, the verse that says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so, like, that renewal is just growth. I would encourage everybody that if you're not growing, if you're not reading books, if you're not listening to podcasts like this or something that, it's how we set that foundation like we talked about earlier. And I think that, this particular podcast can be a part of your growth strategy, and we'd love for you guys to join us. So
Yeah. We're working on every 2 weeks again. We're working on a day. We're trying to figure out, hey, what's the best time? When do we drop them? We want to make sure you guys have a chance to listen to that. But we're working through those. You'll see all that. We'll get some content out and pull some of these nuggets that Benji and Brady are giving us. So I'm excited for us to be able to share those. And we're going to expand Brady's world with social media. Okay? I looked at your by the way. Before I got ready to leave, I asked Brady when we had my exit interview with him. I was like, "Hey, can we be friends on social media now?"
I said yes,
and I still don't think you've accepted it. So
I did the other day.
Oh, did you?
I think
you never
so.
post. So I probably don't see it.
Oh,
I think I looked
true.
at your page and I was like, I'm pretty sure his kids are like 10 and 12 years old in this picture that he last
They
posted.
probably are.
Brady,
I need to update a little bit.
a little bit of help, Brady. So when Adam sends you a collaboration on Instagram. All you have to do is
I don't even know what that is.
He doesn't even know. I'll tell you a quick story, just because it's funny you said that. So, we're obviously going through a lot of this at the church now, and Pastor Noah Ray, he's our associate pastor. We did a recap reel, and he spoke a few weeks ago. Did a phenomenal job. I walked in. I said, "Hey, here's your reel. I want to make sure you like it." And he was like, "Oh, this is great. I love this. This was the point that I was trying to get across." I was like, "Sweet. I'm about to post it. I'm gonna put this and this. I'm gonna send you a collaboration." He's like, "Awesome. I'm so excited." And I started to walk out of his office. He's like, "Hey, real quick, what does that mean?" And I turned around and I died. I was like, "Give me a minute. Let me get my phone, and I'll walk you through this
you had to
process."
train him. You had to educate him.
Hey, I'm willing to learn all that I can.
Hey, look, this is nice because for the past 6 years, I've gotten to do nothing but absorb what the two of you have taught. And I feel like now I'm like repaying that debt a little bit.
There you go. There you go.
So,
You're growing. You're growing. You want to grow.
Trying to. So, well, again, hey, thanks a lot, both of y'all, for joining in. Brady, we're excited to have you part of the team. We're excited to have you jump in. Like I said, we'll be working on these and getting these out to you guys every 2 weeks. We'll be hitting some knowledge. We're going to work on a couple different topics. But like Benji mentioned, hey, follow us. We're on all different platforms. You can listen to us on all different platforms. Hey, if you are, on Spotify or Apple Podcast, leave us a review. That helps us a lot. More reviews, obviously push us to more people. Say, hey, this is a great podcast you should listen to. We're hoping we're giving you guys enough knowledge that you want to do that.
Yep.
And share those things. But again, thanks to y'all for listening, and we're excited. We'll be back in another 2 weeks. All right, guys. So y'all go live. What is it? It's been so long. Is it like we'll live a higher up life? What is?
Choose to live a higher up life.
There it is. All right, guys. Y'all enjoy.